What's going on, everybody? It's a beautiful day here in Central Florida. I'm getting ready to start my day, but I just want to talk with you guys for a little bit. For those of you who don't know, I'm a full-time reseller. I've been doing this for like 13 years. I built a pretty good business. Now I own an online auction site locally, and I sell a lot of stuff online. I've sold like 35,000 items or so on eBay over the years, and I've been doing this full-time since I was in college. So when I got out with my degree, I never had to go get a job, and this has been my job, and I love what I do. So hopefully you guys can kind of find the same path if that's what you find joy in. You always want to do something that brings you joy and something that you get up and are excited to go do every day, which is a really hard thing to find in this life. But without further ado, let's get started. Today's video is going to be about when you should hire help, different ways you can use the help, when is a good time to hire help, things like that. So as we build our business, eventually we're going to have to hire some help. If you really want to scale to the next level, you're going to need to have people come and take certain things off of your plate, right? So when I first started this, I was on my own for, I would say, the first 8 or 9 years before I had any real help. Sometimes I would occasionally have a helper come in for a day here or a day there, but nothing like set in stone. My mom retired about maybe 3-4 years ago, and she's been working part-time with me ever since. And now my dad is kind of, I would say, semi-retired, but he still works a regular, essentially a full-time job, but it's kind of one of those things where he can make his own schedule. So he comes and helps me like 1 or 2 days a week. So we're keeping it in the family, but I just want to tell you the way that I utilize the help and the way that it's helped me build my business. So it got to a point in my business after, I would say, like 3-4 years where I was at a plateau, and I had the goal of trying to hit like 10,000 in sales a month on eBay. And I was doing that rather regularly. Like some months I'd fall short and hit like 8,000, and then other months I would, have a really good month and maybe hit like 12,000 or so. But I was just stuck at that plateau because I'm coming here to my warehouse, like let's say 40 hours a week. I'm listing, I'm packaging, shipping out everything, doing everything I can as one human being in 40 hours. And it gets to a point where you're going to hit like an apex or a plateau where no matter how hard you work, it's going to be hard to really get to the next level. So then luckily around the same time I was really starting to need help, I tried having a couple friends come, but that really didn't pan out. So my mom basically retired, quit her job, and she's on Social Security and things like that. She had a little bit of money, but I wanted to give her some more expendable income, so she started doing my bookkeeping, taking things off of my plate, doing all the paperwork. She does all the Facebook posts for our business now. So as a reseller, it's really hard to give up these certain things that you feel like you want to do a certain way, and it's really hard not to like micromanage it. And I know it's kind of hard to give up things to people because you do things a certain way, and it's almost impossible to find someone that's going to do things exactly like you. It just doesn't seem to work out that way. So when I brought my mom on, I started to find job tasks to take off of my plate where I could spend more time doing what I do best, which is going out, finding new stuff to sell. We get a lot of inventory coming in. Sometimes we do large buyouts. So I got to go through boxes. I got to go through totes. I got to figure out how to lot things together properly. I got to test things. So that's kind of like where I shine and what I'm good at. So that's what I try to spend most of my time doing now. And since I've had her helping me the past few years, my business has seriously grown exponentially, and I'm hitting like way higher sales numbers per month. I don't like to just like spit out all these random numbers and brag and things like that, but I guess for the sake of argument, like I've more or less like doubled my sales by having someone come in and help me take these things off the plate. So my 40 hours here at the warehouse a week are way more better spent getting stuff in and out the door, which is what we're best at. And like I mentioned, my dad comes in like 1 or 2 days a week, and oftentimes I just have him package up all the stuff. Like he likes to come on Mondays and Fridays more often than not. So on Monday we have all the sales over the weekend because I do not work Saturday and Sunday. I just do the Monday to Friday thing, and it's a work-life balance. I love to spend time with my family, so I'm not going to sacrifice that to build a business. I could be doing much better, but to me the time with my family is priceless, and this job and getting money and working hard and all that is great. I thoroughly enjoy it, but family first always. So getting back to what I was going to say, my dad comes in and he helps do the packaging, which takes a lot off of my plate, especially on Mondays. Like this past Monday, he came in and we had 27 items that sold over the weekend, and a lot of them were like musical instruments, receivers for home audio. So it's not like really easy stuff to package. It takes a good half a day, a solid half a day, to get those 27 items completely packaged properly and getting ready to get out the door with shipping labels and all that. So it's nice to have someone come in and take that off my plate, because when I come in on Monday morning, instead of packaging for 60% of my time during the day, I'm able to immediately come in and start processing inventory while my dad's back there packaging the stuff. And then when my mom comes in, I have her do a lot of different job tasks. As I mentioned, she does all the paperwork, the Facebook, social media stuff. For a while, I was having her do a lot of pictures and stuff. But what I noticed when you have other people do pictures, they might not think of the certain things we as resellers think. Like, you got to make sure you get the brand name, you got to make sure you get the model number. And oftentimes, she doesn't think like the way we think because we have a lot more experience. So recently, what I've done is have her do a lot more of the listing part of it. So I do all the photography and processing here. So I'll do a lot of the picture taking, and then I can send her the photo packs at home, and then she can list the items from home, which is great because she lives about 30 minutes from here. So if I can give her work to do at home and she can make money, she doesn't even have to leave her house. She can hang out with her cats and do the stuff there. So you really have to decide like when is a good time to hire help, because if you're just getting started, hiring help is not the best idea, right? Because a lot of times we're running on relatively slim margins, but I mean, we do have a really good, healthy margin in this business compared to other businesses, especially if you're sourcing properly and buying things the right way, which is a whole different discussion. I can make an entire video about that. But a lot of us have to learn through hard knocks, and it's trial and error kind of thing, learning what to buy and what not to buy and things like that. But once you get to the point where you're very good at sourcing quality inventory, the name of the game is turnover, right? We want to get it in here, we want to get it processed, we want to get it photographed, listed, and ultimately get it sold and packaged and shipped and out the door. So as much as you can help people take things off your plate in that simple process, it's going to help you grow your business exponentially to the next level. So I would say the best time to hire help is when you hit a plateau, like I said, when you feel like you're giving it your all, but the numbers just aren't, showing any kind of growth pattern, right? And another way you can kind of grow that growth pattern is by focusing on your average sale price and try to source a little bit higher end items or lot things together properly. Like these CDs behind me, there's no chance I'm gonna list all these CDs one at a time, right? So I'm working through these, I'm separating them by genre, and these are really good CDs from like the 90s mostly. So it's a lot of hard to find titles. It's not like newer stuff that's abundant out there and easy to find. A lot of these CDs, as I search through them, I'm finding CDs that actually sell for $30, $40, $60 each, right? So I'm listing those separately, but I'm lotting up the other ones so I can get $30, $40, $50, $60 in a bundle, right? So getting that average sale price up is another way to grow your business, because me personally running it here out of this warehouse, like we might have like 200, 300 sales a month, right? Which isn't really that high of a number on eBay. But if my average sale price is nearly $100, so if I'm taking the minimum 200 items that we sell a month, and you multiply that by $100, we're having $20,000 sales months. So conversely, if I was sold the same 200 items, the same exact amount of work essentially, and these are $20 items, now I'm only selling $4,000. I got to pay for these warehouses. I got to pay for help. I would not make it. I'd have to go get a normal job. So the average sale price is almost just as important as anything else in this business, which is probably the hardest thing to grow exponentially, because it's tough to source those higher end items. But if you find the right outlets and things, you can, and I've done very well at it. And I'm sure out of my 100 plus videos on here, you can see the kind of things I've sourced, and I'm sure I've made videos talking about ways to source and things like that, where I'll touch more on these topics. But yeah, so I would just say, like, when you get to that plateau, that's the time to hire help. And then think about what you're best at and the best way for you to utilize your time to expedite the process of getting things in and out the door, right? So you want to have them do things that they're efficient and effective at. And you got to think of who you want to hire for help. I've had people come in that were friends that didn't seem to work. So I had my stepson come in and help me. He did really well. He was only 16. He's probably one of the best workers I had. But he's busy with school, and his school's like 30 minutes from my warehouse, or 40 minutes, I should say. So it's a long drive for him to be able to come here after school, and I cut out early to get home to see my wife and younger son. So the schedule doesn't work, and I really wish he went to school right around the corner so he could come help me more and I could help him more financially for helping me here. But he's doing great. He started his own auto detailing business, so hopefully he's following in my footsteps of being an entrepreneur. But like I said in the beginning, just do what makes you happy. That's what's important. So we talked about kind of ways you can utilize the help, where to find the help, and the most effective way to use the help. So I guess that's pretty much it. I didn't really have a good like game plan or a good format the way what I was going to talk about in this video. I was just kind of winging it. So I'm sure I left some important information out. If you guys have anything that you think you could add to this video, drop a comment below and that could help somebody else. That's my main focus on this channel. I'm not here to make a bunch of money. I have a lot of things to do. I'm taking time out of my day just to share information with you guys, because there's a lot of people that we know in our lives. And if you're a reseller, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have a lot of people like to talk about this kind of stuff with, like your family and friends, you can discuss it with them, but they're not living it. They don't really understand the dynamics and things like that. So it almost falls on deaf ears, and they don't, in a I can't think of a nicer way to say it, but they just don't really care about it. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have a group like you guys who I can share this information with, that's going to actually take it, run with it, and maybe it'll help you in one way or another. And if anything I say in these videos helps you at all, then I feel like it's not a waste of my time and I'm doing the right thing here. So I just want to thank you guys, especially if you're still watching at this point in the video. Hopefully you found a nugget of information in here that can help you grow and scale your business. If you have any ideas for like future videos, things that you'd like to hear me discuss or touch on, drop a comment below about that. Like this video if you can. As everyone says, it kind of helps with the algorithm and things like that. And we're a very small channel, as you can see, as of right now. So once again, thanks for everything. Good luck in your guys' sales, and until next time, peace.